Chapter 4, in which I become an interstellar criminal. Mum was back from taking care of Mrs. Nesbit, and she was not amused. Again. "Rod, you know I don't like you going off this close to supper time," she said as I followed the twins and Bonehead through the door. "Where have you been?" "We went back to Seldom Seen for a few minutes." "With the aliens," added Thing One happily. Mum raised an eyebrow. "New game?" "Sort of. The things like it better than I do." She smiled. "Well, I wish you hadn't gone out there right now, but I do appreciate you playing with them, Rod." I felt pretty guilty, until I realised that even though I hadn't really been playing with the twins, if it hadn't been for me, the two of them might have tried playing with the ship, in which case Gracker might have melted them or something, so I'd probably saved their lives. "Where did you get that spaceship anyway?" asked Mum, noticing what I was carrying. Since I can't lie, it's not easy for me to answer a question like this. I thought fast. "I'm taking care of it for a friend," I said at last, which was true if I was willing to consider Gracker a friend. "Well, be careful of it. You know I don't like you borrowing toys." "I'll be very careful," I said sincerely. Then, to my relief, she shanghaied the twins and marched them off to get ready for supper. "I want to play with the aliens," wailed Eric as he disappeared into the bathroom. I hightailed it for my own room. Once we're inside, Gracker and Madam Pong climbed out of my shirt pocket and used their rocket belts to fly down to my desk. "Why is it so important that I keep you a secret?" I asked. "Your planet has not yet been approved for entry into the League of Worlds," said Madam Pong, putting her hands together and making a little bow. "Probably never will be," added Gracker. Madam Pong reached behind Gracker and gave him a solid whack at the base of the skull. "Please forgive the captain," she said. "I fear that the diplomatic module I provided for him is not fully functional." "But is what he said true? They won't let us into the League of Worlds?" I felt like I was being told about a club that I couldn't join. "Let's just say the matter is under discussion," said Madam Pong smoothly. "As for us staying secret," added Gracker, "let me explain it this way. I am now giving you a direct order not to tell people about us. If you do not obey, you will be in violation of Galactic Ordinance 143.5.7.6. The penalties can be severe." "I'm just a kid. Why are you threatening me?" "I'm not threatening," said Gracker. "I'm explaining. Madam Pong doesn't always understand the difference," he added as the diplomatic officer began to object. Just then the phone rang. "Rod," called my mother after a second. "It's Mickey. He wants to talk to you." I looked at Gracker. Would he let me answer the phone, or was I being held prisoner in my own room? "Better answer it," said Madam Pong, without giving Gracker a chance to forbid me. I went into the hall, which meant that I could talk without the aliens hearing me. "Hey, Rod," said Mickey. "Is it okay if I come over?" "It might be better if I came over to your place." "I'll come." This isn't a good time. That was all Mickey needed to know. Sometimes it wasn't a good time at my house. Sometimes it wasn't a good time at his house. He knew I'd fill in later if I wanted to. "I'll check with my mum," he said. While Mickey was checking with his mum, I checked with mine. "Not until after supper," she said, which was pretty much what I expected. I thought about checking with Gracker too, but decided against it. I wasn't going to let him run my life any more than I had to. I would just lock the twins out of the room so they couldn't cause any trouble, and leave the aliens to fix their ship. You might wonder why I was going over to Mickey's instead of staying to talk to the aliens. The answer was simple. If I didn't tell someone about this, I thought I would explode. Supper was Mum's famous tuna noodle casserole, which I actually like, strange as that might sound. Even so, I ate as quickly as I could without getting yelled at. When I was done eating, I went to my room and locked it from the outside. Mum had bought me a lock after the third time the twins had playtime in my room while I was at school. I didn't tell the aliens where I was going. As I went across the road to Mickey's house, I began to wonder if not telling the aliens was a mistake. But I knew that Gracker would simply have ordered me to stay home. Mickey was waiting for me up in his room. I couldn't wait to get up there and tell him what had happened. But when I did, he didn't believe me. I suppose that made sense. Who would? Besides, at the end of 3rd grade, we had started this game where we had a bunch of little alien friends. We used to sit outside at night and describe what they were doing in the sky above us. It was a lot of fun, but we had sort of stopped doing it last year. Now Mickey thought I was just trying to start a new version of it. "I'm serious, Mick," I said, almost desperate. "I've got a tiny spaceship and at least 2 aliens in my room." "Okay. Why don't you let me come over and see them?" "I think they might kill me if I did." I thought about that for a second after I said it. Would Gracker really kill me? Probably not. But I did think he was serious about taking me off to stand trial. I had a feeling he didn't believe in juvenile offender status. Mickey started to laugh. "Come on, Mickey. You know I never lie to you." "I know I never catch you," said Mickey, who loved to make up outrageous stories to see if he could get me to believe them. Once we were digging behind his house. We weren't digging for anything special, just digging. You know, to see how big a hole we could make. Anyway, we found this little blue bottle, and Mickey told me it was magic, and if I put water in it every day, eventually these famous people would come out of it. This is probably the single stupidest thing I have ever believed, and I'm not going to tell you how old I was when it happened, because it is embarrassing. Let's just say that I was a lot younger than I am now, but also old enough that I should have known better. I think one reason I believed him was that since I can't lie, it's always hard for me to realise when someone else is lying to me. "Look," I said, "I just became an interplanetary criminal by telling you this. I'm risking my life to let you in on this, and all you can do is make fun of me." By this time, Mickey was laughing so hard he fell off his bed. "Stop it, Rod," he gasped. "Please, I can't take it anymore." You know how it is when people get laughing so hard they can't stop. That's the way it was with Mickey. The more I tried to convince him that what I was saying was true, the more hilarious he thought it was. Finally, his mother came up and sent me home because we were keeping his little sister awake. It was dark outside, and a cold wind was blowing through the trees. It made me think of my father, because the last time I had seen him was on a night like this. I wondered where he was now. When I got home, I had to go in and bop the things goodnight. They always wanted me to kiss them, which I do not want to do, so we have settled on a goodnight bop, which I do softly with their teddy bears, Violet and Arnold. Next, I kissed my mother goodnight. I tried to work out a bopping deal with her, but she still insists on a kiss. Finally, I went to my room, where I figured I would have a long talk with the aliens. Now that I was used to the idea of what was going on, I was actually looking forward to this talk. I wanted to find out more about them, and where they came from. That was before I walked through the door and discovered the disaster they had created. Then I wanted to kill them.